What's good, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Melissa the Divine. Let's shred some calories. And today we're gonna be talking about the gym. Not gatekeeping anything, okay? The two things I always bring to the gym with me: hydration, my protein shake. When I say hydration, it's not just water. I feel like I get really dehydrated when I work out, so I like to have an extra boost of hydration. I really like to use the Noon hydration tab. Right now I have the tri-berry flavor. This one's pretty good, but typically I like the ones that also have caffeine in them. This I love to drink like on the way to the gym, so that was loud. So I'm nice and hydrated once I get there, and then I typically will drink a second one once I'm at the gym. You can drink up to 3 of these a day. You can get the powder form that you just put in, whatever makes the most sense for you. Those are super, super helpful when you work out. The second thing that I bring with me is a protein shake. I just add a banana, I get some oat milk and some protein powder. Easy, easy deal. And of course I have to get hyped before I go. Like I can't just go like with any type of energy. So here's everything I wish someone would have told me when it comes to the gym. No gatekeeping. I feel like I'm intermediate level at this point, so I can give some advice to the beginners. And I feel like a lot of people make it seem more intimidating than it needs to be or than it really is. So I'm gonna break it down into bite-sized pieces so you're not intimidated or scared of the gym and you feel comfortable and confident going, and you will see results. Trust me. You will. So my first tip would be start small and don't overwhelm yourself. I feel like it's important to maintain and find a workout routine that is like realistic for your lifestyle. For me, I'm the kind of person who can be in the gym for hours. Like it honestly feels like a playground now that I think about it. But if you don't have hours to be in the gym, that's not gonna match up with your lifestyle. So if you have a really busy life and you don't know where to fit the gym in, I would recommend at least starting at home with home workouts. That way it's not something that feels like it's too much pressure. It's just simple and you can do it right at home. And the best way to do that is YouTube videos. I would really recommend getting some dumbbells, and I will insert some clips here of my basic workout routine that I do and see what I do with dumbbells. I still go to the gym and use some of their equipment, but half of my workout is dumbbells and half of it is machines. I highly recommend, like I said, just starting small and making it like realistic for your lifestyle. If you're looking for a gym, find a gym as close to you as possible. I started off at first going 3 times a week, and just recently I've upped it to going 4 times. Maybe eventually I'll up it to 5 times. 4 times for me feels good, and I still feel like I'm pushing myself. But what matters most is just showing up consistently and not trying to be perfect. So whatever way you can show up consistently, 2 times, 3 times at your house, however you can do it, start there and then scale up. Don't try to be like, oh, I'm gonna work out 5 times a week in the beginning. It's honestly just overwhelming, and you're not even gonna wanna go once or twice. When it comes to weights, don't be scared of the weights, okay? I know sometimes the machines can look overwhelming, the Smith machine, the bar. If that's scary in the beginning, which it is, I'd recommend you just start with some dumbbells. You can do this at home. If you like the gym environment, you can do this at the gym. Start with a weight that feels not too strenuous, but also feels like pressure is being applied. You don't want it to be too easy. You don't want to be like you're falling over. You gotta apply pressure, you gotta put in effort, but it's not too much. And then start at like 8 to 10 reps in the beginning. So boom, you do 8 reps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then do that for a couple weeks. You'll notice in a couple weeks, it becomes really easy. You don't feel like you're being pushed anymore. So before you up the weight, I recommend up the reps. So instead of doing 8 to 10, now maybe you do 10 to 12 or 12 to 15 reps. Now once you do that and you realize it's easy, up the weight. Maybe you started at 15 pounds with 8 reps, and then you upped it to 15 pounds at 15 reps. Now you up it to 20 pounds, but maybe you go back down to 8 reps, or you go back down to 10 reps, or down to 12, whatever you can manage. Increase the reps over time, and then increase the weight over time as well. I know it's nerve-wracking. Honestly, a good thing to do is go with a friend. Go with a friend because it's less embarrassing when you fail. You both are just there, you're having fun, you don't really care about how you look. Next tip is to keep your workout simple. All you really need at the gym is get there, stretch, 3 to 5 workouts, and then I end off with cardio. That is my copy and paste. I switch the workout sometimes, I switch the reps, sometimes I switch the weights, but it is stretch, 3 to 5 workouts, cardio, every single time. Keep it simple. Keep it repeatable. So when you start out, go in and stretch a little bit. If you're in the beginning, maybe start with 3 workouts. If you're just getting back into things, but you've worked out before, maybe try 4 workouts, whatever you feel comfortable with. And 20 minutes of cardio. That can be the elliptical, it could be the treadmill. If you do the treadmill, I recommend doing 12 incline. You wanna be walking upwards like you're going up a hill, because it builds your booty, but it snatches the waist, keep you slim thick. It could also be the stair climber, okay? For me, it's 20 minutes on the stair climber. I don't know, I might have to go meet my maker if I do that. So I like to stay on the elliptical or the treadmill. And if it's nice out, I'll just go on a 20-minute walk. Tip number 3, and this is my biggest advice. I really should have put this first. Your diet, in my opinion, is more important than the gym. Please don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you the truth. And I can give a personal account to this because growing up, I was pretty slim. For one, my family, we didn't eat out much. We rarely ate out, and my mom always cooked dinner. And it was always healthy foods. It was always balanced meals, like a carb, a vegetable, and a protein. And we didn't really have junk food in the fridge either. Like, even if I would ask my dad for fruit snacks, he'd be like, what are those? Like, why should I buy that? Just eat fruit. I'm like, okay. And we ate a lot of fruit growing up too. I think the reason why I did have that shape and size was because of the foods that I was eating. I didn't used to work out. I played tennis in the spring, and that was it. Okay, I played one sport. It was strictly diet. And at one point, I even went vegetarian, actually. And this is when I slimmed down the most. Try something like that because it's restrictive, but it's not like it's gonna kill you. People act like it'll kill them to cut out meat, or it'll kill them. You'll be just fine. I never tried like the keto diets and the other diets. I don't know. Those just didn't really interest me. Give me one thing to cut out and I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me this. It's for the other ones just seem too complicated. If you want a basic restrictive diet, I'd recommend go vegetarian, go pescatarian. That's when I saw the most weight loss. And I wasn't like religiously looking at my body or concerned about my weight because it was just maintained by itself. And that changed later on. Now I'm 25. I noticed when I hit 24, 25, the weight was staying on like never before. But it was actually the woman I babysat for who called it out. She was like, Melissa, what have you been doing? Like, you're getting so slim. And I really had to think because I wasn't working out. Like I said, I really couldn't think of what I did differently. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian now. I remember her telling me that she tried it and she actually got results as well. So just one option of a quote unquote diet, you could say, but I kind of feel like it's more like a lifestyle. You know, vegans, they don't call it a diet, honey, it's a lifestyle. So your diet will make or break your results. If you're in the gym super consistently, but you're eating like garbage, results where? You will have to search night and day for results because they're not gonna be there. You gotta switch up the diet. What I did was I used an app called MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal, if you're watching, I'll be patiently waiting for that email, melissadivinebookings@gmail.com. I'll put it on the screen. Send me the email and we can talk about a partnership, okay? When I was using that app, because you know, I can't say it too many times until we have our deal set up, but I love MyFitnessPal, honestly. All jokes aside, it's great. That is what brought me down. So got into a relationship, I gained relationship weight. That man liked to cook and he knew how to cook. Hunty, I was eating good. Breakfast in bed, all types of meals. I just didn't care. Still wasn't working out, but I noticed myself get pudgier. I really never thought I had to work out because my weight maintained itself so well for so many years. I was like, look, I just got it like that. The older I got, the more I realized, oh no, you don't just got it like that, okay? So I think it was around, yeah, November time that I started working out. When I got MyFitnessPal, it really made me realize what I was eating. At this point now, so like I said, I grew up eating really healthy, very balanced, healthy meals for me to eat. There was always fruit in the house. When I got to my own apartment, when it was up to me to cook the food, when it was up to me to feed myself, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I never used to eat out. Now I'm alone. I got my own money. Honey, bring the DoorDash. Where are we going to eat tonight? Okay, we can eat here, we can eat there, we can eat anywhere. So I started just eating whatever. I had no idea. Even in a cup of juice, I didn't realize 1 cup of juice is 30 grams of sugar. Most juices, 30, 35, some 40 grams of sugar in 1 cup. And that could be your whole day's worth of sugar in just 1 cup of juice. But who just really drinks 1 cup? You drink 1, now you want 2, you might want 3. You want a dessert, you want a little treat, you want a matcha latte with sweet cream foam on top and brown sugar syrup and vanilla syrup and caramel syrup. Hunty, you don't know how much sugar you just ate, okay? So keeping track of it, I know this stresses some people out. I totally can understand why. For me, I'm like, I'd rather know than not know. I'm one of those people, but I understand some people, it's like, please don't show me the number on the scale. Don't show me this, don't show me that. And I respect it. But honey, I really recommend you work on it. I really recommend that you work on that part of your personality, because I'm not gonna say it's a character flaw, that's crazy, but it is something that's going to hold you back in other areas of your life. It's like, why don't you wanna know? Tell me why, like really think about why don't you wanna know how many calories you're eating? Why don't you wanna know? Some people might have obsessive personality. I totally get it. Honestly, if that's you, just forget what I just said. I have another tip for you. But if you're not that person, if you're just kind of afraid, I encourage you to work through that fear and understand that knowledge is power. When you know what's going in your body, you know how many calories you're burning, you know how often you work out, you're able to take control of your life, okay? And especially if you're starting from scratch, especially if you're like, you don't know where to start, an app or like a food tracker is really a great place to begin, because I put in how much I weigh, how much I wanted to weigh later on. My average weight in college was 145 to 155. I would put it in that range. After college, after relationship weight, after freshman 15, I must have been 175. End of last year, I hit 190 pounds on the scale and I said no. I was like, no. It wasn't even looking at the scale that made me say no. It was just my face looked fuller and more plump. My stomach, which used to be snapped, I was just spilling out of my clothes and stuff. I was just like, nah, this ain't it for me. That was when I decided to make the change. So I was looking to lose around 30 pounds. I got this app. They give you how many calories you should eat. For example, for me, around 1,350 calories a day. Like, phew. When I started tracking the food and eating it, I realized I was still kind of hungry at the end of the day. I have an Apple Watch, right? Another thing, if you can afford it, I recommend getting it, because it tracks how many calories you burn, it tracks how many steps you walk. Some people do this, some people don't. Honey, like I said, I like to track everything. So if I burn 600 calories working out or something, maybe even just going on a long walk, I'm adding that. And then my calories go up. So it goes from 1,300 calories to now I can eat 1,900 calories. So it kind of creates a symbiotic relationship of, okay, work out, eat, work out, eat, work out, eat. Even if I felt like, it's like 50, 100 calories over, I go for a walk. I dance around my apartment. My watch will tell me, boop, you burn this many calories. What I'm saying about taking control of your life, knowing is better than not knowing, and you can actually fix things better when you know. You don't know how many calories you ate, you don't know how many calories you burned. It's kind of hard to gauge what's going on. It's just a recommendation, but like I said, if it's too stressful for you, I have another tip that I'll give you about how you can kind of gauge what to be eaten, how much to eat, if the numbers and all that is too much. If you don't want to keep track of your calories, if that's too stressful, let's just get into it now. I would say a good rule of thumb, cut back on the carbs. Cut back on the carbs. Trust me. I am an African girl, so the rice comes in piles. The rice be this big with this much sauce and this much meat. So I get looks when I say, I don't eat too many carbs. Carbs, I've noticed, made the biggest difference. When I cut back on my carbs, I feel like the weight was just at this point falling off. A good rule of thumb, like I said, if you don't want to track specifically, is I would say aim for like 1 to 1.5 to like max, I don't even want to say 2. Aim for like 1 to 1.5-ish cups of carbs with each meal. Breakfast, right? You want to eat some oatmeal or something. Go for a good cup of oatmeal, throw in some fruit in there. Add protein though. Protein is gonna be your best friend. Up your protein, lower your carbs. Up the protein, lower the carbs. Breakfast, maybe, like I said, you have your oatmeal, maybe you got some fruit in there. Add a protein shake, add some eggs, add some peanut butter, add however you can add. I love chia seeds. Chia seeds add a few grams of protein too. Add some protein in there. That's how you want to fill up your calories for the day. I used to have this much rice, now I have this much rice. I used to have this much meat, now I have this much meat. So you're not totally cutting everything down, you're lowering your carbs and upping your protein. I also really recommend trying your best to cut out unnecessary sugar. Like I mentioned earlier, a cup of juice has so many grams of sugar, you have no idea. I have a sweet tooth and even I've managed to do this. I just drink more water. And if I want a sweet drink, I get a Poppy because it has like 4 or 5 grams of sugar and I don't feel guilty. Okay. Another tip for how much protein you should eat. This is like the slim thick ratio. Multiply 0.73 by your weight. This is how you stay snatched but also maintain muscle. Ask scientists, I didn't make it up. 0.73 times whatever your weight is will tell you how many grams of protein you should at least aim to eat. Sometimes it's hard, even I don't reach that number every day, but try to aim for that or get close to it. And then again, keeping your carbs low. So that's the diet portion of this. This is the easiest thing, okay? Easiest thing when it comes to losing weight is just walking. Just walk. Go on walks. For me, this is one of my favorite things to do. I'll just go on a trail and I'll walk for like an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Just being in nature, listening to a podcast or music. It's so peaceful, but I'm also burning calories. For me, if I walk for an hour, I've burned at least 500 calories. If all this other stuff is too much, start with walking. Just start walking. You're gonna wanna aim for 10,000 steps a day. This is when a watch comes in handy, but your phone tracks it too. There's something called NEAT, I forget what this stands for, but it's pretty much the non-exercise calories that you burn. This can be choosing to take the stairs versus the elevator, choosing to stand up versus sit at your desk. Try to incorporate some of those things too. If you're always an elevator girly, try to take the stairs. If you're always sitting at your desk, try to stand for a little bit. If you always want to drive to the place that's right down the street, try walking. And my final tip, tip number 7, is actually a Japanese, how do you call it? It's like it's a Japanese saying, but also a Japanese way of living as well. And it helped me so much not to eat until I was stuffed, because I think that's a common thing. I grew up being told I need to finish all the food on my plate. If you want to lose weight, throw that belief out the window. Okay, throw it out the park. We don't need it. Get rid of it. I gotta read this off my screen. It's called hara hachibu. Hara hachibu. I hope I said that right. Literally means eating until you are 80% full. I actually heard about this on that Netflix show, How to Live Longer or something like that. And they said in their culture, they don't eat until they're stuffed and they can't move. They eat until 80% because that's all you need. So try to adopt that mindset. Stop eating until you're stuffed and you can't move. Eat until you reach about 80% and then stop. And your body's going to get used to that. It's going to get used to not constantly eating until you're stuffed. You're gonna have more energy and you will lose weight. Trust me. It teaches you also to just listen to your body more, and you can gauge more how much you actually need to eat versus how much you think you should be eating. At the end of the day though, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Don't compare yourself to anyone else's journey. No one's journey in anything is the same. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. This is your journey and you're doing this for you. The results, you're gonna feel so good when you get the results. You'll realize who cares what anyone else is thinking and who cares what anyone else is doing. Let me know if you guys want me to go deeper on anything I shared. I could do a separate video on diet altogether because like I said, that's like the biggest part. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up, to subscribe to this channel, and share this with a friend. Share this with a workout buddy that you want to have go to the gym with you. There's strength in numbers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and my fitness pal, I'm waiting for that email. MelissaTheDivineBookings@gmail.com.